All right, let's switch to the blend game for this week. And we are celebrating the contributions to cinema of one Diablo Cody, Oscar-winning screenwriter, who I was really disappointed to learn this week did not write Up in the Air, because I really thought that was going to be my choice. And I guess I just kind of assumed her and Reitman went from Juno to Up in the Air together.
Didn't Reitman write that?
Did he? I don't know. Gabe, can you double check that? So I'm going to have to go with Juno because while I really do love her other film, I was really close to going with Tully, which I liked a lot, especially as somebody who has gone through the rigors of raising a child, and as good as Charlize is in that role, it's hard to top Juno. Juno is just one of those films that has so much personality. Reitman and Sheldon Turner, says Gabe, wrote Up in the Air. I don't know why I assumed that she jumped to Up in the Air with him. Juno is the one that got her Oscar nomination. Fantastic script. Her win. That's right. Fantastic script for everybody involved in it. Jason Bateman's fantastic. Jennifer Garner, J.K. Simmons, obviously Ellen Page. It came around at the perfect time. It was one of those really cute without being cloy in terms of the type of dialogue that was worked in. Sometimes people can totally overdo it. I think Edgar Wright sometimes falls into that victim a little bit. Like, that's why Scott Pilgrim doesn't work as well for me. Sometimes I think Edgar Wright's a little bit too...
Oh, I love Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim is perfect.
Is it? I don't know.
Great.
Scott Pilgrim
It is great.
Perfect. But I think that Diablo Cody absolutely deserved to win the Oscar that year, and so Juno is going to be my pick. Kevin, where are you at?
I went with Jennifer's Body, and only because Lauren loves that film so much, so I've watched it a lot more than I would have. Because I remember seeing it in theaters and really thinking it was great, but I never really revisited it until Lauren kind of shared her passion for it. So that's become a favorite film in our house. As much as I love Juno and Young Adult, she wrote as well, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously you mentioned that in Tully. Was that the other one she wrote? You were talking about that just now. Jennifer's Body to me just strikes a great tone. I like the R-rated element of her script because Juno I think was PG-13, I believe.
I think so.
I want to say Young Adult was R. I could be wrong on that, but
yes, it is.
But I like her R-rated material, and I think that Jennifer's Body just captured a certain tone that I really enjoyed. I love high school films, but I also love when they take a twist on certain genres. And everybody in that film is great. I remember we had Adam Brody on our show who was very passionate about that film and kind of wished it did better. And not a lot of people saw it. Megan Fox is amazing in it. Amanda Seyfried's amazing in it. Johnny Simmons, who I really, really like. I think that's his name. He was also in 21 Jump Street. He was really great. I think that's his name, but he's really, really great in the movie. I think that's my favorite. And I know that Karen Kusama directed it, but I think that Diablo Cody's script is just brilliant.
I gotta tell a funny young adult story. Is young adult your pick, Jake, or do you have a different pick? Is it your pick? Let me tell a funny story really fast.
Go.
They filmed parts of that, big chunks
How
of it.
did you know that?
I have no idea. I did not know that. I think it's great that we all pick something different. They filmed huge chunks of young adult on Long Island, where I'm from. And they filmed actually in my town in Massapequa Park, which I had no idea. But there's a moment where Charlize Theron comes out of a store and crosses a street, and she's going down a side street. And the camera pans around her, and it is the main street in my town, in Massapequa Park, where I grew up. And there's a Carvel, and there's a restaurant that has changed hands multiple times. And the camera pans around her on a block that I have gone down a bazillion times over the course of my life. And I didn't know it was coming, and I'm sitting there watching it, and it was like an outer body experience.
That's weird.
Where all of a sudden, there is my hometown, like up on the screen on a block that I have walked on multiple times. And so I did that junket, and I sat down across from Reitman, and I said, "You filmed in Massapequa Park." And he was like, "What the what? That's the weirdest opening question that I've ever heard." He was like, "Yes, I did film in Massapequa Park." And I told him the whole story, and he was blown away. But it was really bizarre to see your hometown's street broadcast in a film when you're not anticipating it. I assume that's not why you loved Diablo
That's
Cody's
specifically
work.
why I love young adult. Before I get my reasoning, I have a random test. I'm gonna see if Kevin can pass it. Kevin, who directed my backdrop right now? I'm gonna see if he can get my line of thought.
I mean, I feel like you're leaning towards like an Abrams thing, but right now I'm trying to figure out. I don't know.
I could potentially be reaching. If I were to tell you that Cameron Crowe directed my backdrop.
Oh, Vanilla Sky.
Because doesn't it have like a Vanilla Sky look?
It does look like Vanilla Sky. I see it.
I'm sorry, Gabe. They got to reach at some point. I wanted to reach at some point. I really, with Diablo Cody's movies, they all speak to sort of obviously a certain group of people. Juno didn't really, I like all of her scripts, but some just speak to me more than others. Teen Pregnancy doesn't really speak to me as much. So with Tully, I really liked Tully, really enjoyed sort of the final act of it. But obviously, motherhood isn't something that's going to strike a personal chord. A delayed adolescence, the delayed adolescence, sort of a refusal to grow up for better or worse. Is something that speaks to me a little bit more so on a different levels than teen pregnancy or motherhood. But I also think that it's personally, I think it's the best case of her writing perfectly matching up with the people who are speaking it. Specifically with Charlize Theron. I think her words in that script coming out of Charlize Theron is a match made in heaven. And I think the script makes Charlize better. Charlize makes the script better. Patton Oswalt is fantastic in that and gets a lot of really great moments to shine. That's the one that's really kind of resonated with me on more so of a level beyond, oh, this is good writing and that's a clever one-liner and that's a good script. More like this is the one that kind of, for me, took it to the next level with Diablo Cody.
I absolutely would love a world where her and Charlize are doing a movie every couple of years together. Because you're right. I think that they both make each other better. That's a perfect way to put it. And I would love to see the two of them collaborate more often. Those are basically the three movies that were singled out by our users as they submitted. Michelle Garrist, Rachel K.H., John Palmer, and others chose Juno. Guy Anthony, Emma, and a few others went with Jennifer's Body. And then Matt Posentino, Andy Travers, Jose Villa Jr., and many others went with the young adult. And nobody went with Up in the Air because she didn't write it. Although I really wanted to this week. Thank you, everybody, for participating. And for next week, you will be playing along with hashtag Angela Bassett Blend. We're going to be celebrating Angela Bassett.
Good one. God, she's so great.
Via email.
And how great is she? Could you say really quick, how great is she to interview? How great of an interview is she?
She is fantastic.
Awesome. She is a rock star of an interview. Someone who by no means does this matter in the grand scheme of things, but one of the most stunningly beautiful women I think I've ever interviewed. And like, you just walk into a room and you just go, wow.
Yep.
And then she's sharp and smart and funny. Oh, I love her. Well done. Good pick.
It's so true. I was able to interview her recently for the Mission Impossible films and just did her last week for Soul. And she was phenomenal in both of those opportunities. So, she's great. So we will celebrate her films. Hashtag Angela Bassett Blend. So let us know your pick either on social media or email us at ReelBlend@CinemaBlend.com.